like who are already in their teens, who are already in their 20s, like the kids right now, like will it eventually improve? Yes. But we're going to lose a lot of kids' minds in the process.
Yeah. All right, Padmini, I think we we
All
went
right,
to
that
another.
got very serious. That got super serious.
I like it though. It's fun. It's fun. It's fun. So, Padmini, we were talking about relationships, right?
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
yes, yes. One of the things that you mentioned is sabotage. When you're in survival mode, one of the things that people tend to do is sabotage their relationships.
Mhm.
And my gut feeling tells me that they do that unconscious, like they don't know they're doing it. Would
Yeah.
you agree with that? And if yes, how do you think they do it?
Um, a lot of it's blame.
Blame.
So it's like if you blame somebody else for their behavior, for how they made you feel, for what you had to do, for the situation, if you blame the other person, you're not accountable. You're not taking responsibility. And so it's like, it can't, then you're like, well, it can't be sabotage because it's their fault. It's always their fault. Or it's like they were too emotional. They made things harder. Whatever the excuse is. But it's usually like that's a good indication. Like, are you blaming someone else for something you're not taking? And what role do you play in all of this? Like, yes, some people behave outrageously individually, but a lot of situations have, you know, two perspectives at a minimum depending on like how they're interpreted. And I think, a lot of people deep down inside, everyone says they want love, but like I think a lot of people are scared of it. And the thing is, like, to get into a real relationship, a real like solid, loving, like compatible partnership, you have to show up. Like it's also work. It's honesty. Like you have to be a better person. You have to be mature, you have to be compassionate, you have to be patient. Like a lot of people don't want to behave that way. They want to behave childishly. They want to behave immaturely. They, want their cake and eat it too. Like they want all the privileges and all the benefits, and the sex and the fun and whatever, but they don't want the responsibility. They don't want the accountability. Then it's somebody else's problem. And that the sabotage, like I think, you know you should look at your own track record. And and often like you're the common denominator, or often your choices are the common denominator, one or the other.
Whew. Yeah. And again, I think that's something that it takes a few trial and errors to start thinking about, right? I don't think it's in your first relationship ever that
No.
you sabotage that you're gonna think, oh, I was the problem. No, you're just gonna blame the hell. That's what I imagine, right? You're gonna blame the hell out of your partner. You're gonna sabotage the
Yeah.
hell out of it. It's like, yeah, this guy was an asshole. But he didn't deserve me. And then you're gonna go to the next one and you're gonna do the same. And then you're gonna do the same. And then again, I'm assuming here, after five relation I don't know, a couple of relationships, you're gonna see, wait a minute, why they kinda all ended the same way? I don't know well, am I the problem? And then you start questioning about it. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, that's one side of it. Also, when I say, and that's if you are the problem, which I think a lot of people who really are the problem don't want to admit. I think there's also, the other side of like, in a podcast I did recently, I talked about like, one of the best lessons I actually ever learned was to stop lowering my standards. I think I had
Hmm.
actually lowered my standards a lot to just sort of make something work because somebody wanted to make it work with me. And I didn't know. I was genuinely looking for love. So a lot of times I'm like, okay, maybe this is it. Maybe this is it. Maybe this is it. And it was like, I actually think by and large, like I treated those men very, very well and probably stuck around much longer than I needed to have, just to like make sure I left it all on the field. That like, I don't like feeling I don't like feeling like I didn't do my best. Like I don't like guilt. It's not something I do not try to accumulate that, nor do I accumulate karma. And but like I had to acknowledge that like my choice in men was flawed and that I hadn't done the work on myself to really be the partner to the man that the type of man I really wanted to be with. Like you want to be with a high caliber person, you have to be a high caliber person. And that just doesn't mean like how much money you make. Like internally, like you have to be that person. You want someone truthful, you want someone with integrity, you have to be that person as well. You want someone hardworking, you have to be that person. You want someone healthy, you have to be that person. You want someone fit, you have to be that person. So it's like you can't just like make all these demands of somebody else, but not rise to the occasion. And so there's a lot there. It can be sliced many different ways, but like basically what you have to look for by and large is patterns, pattern recognition, and
Mm.
you'll figure it out whether it's like, yes, are you the problem, are you lowering your standards, are you lying to yourself, are you lonely, are you desperate, are you just running around from relationship to relationship because you're too scared of being with yourself.
Those are the patterns that
Yeah,
you could
like
look. Okay.
yeah, like those are all like you have to be, but that goes back again to the honesty. You don't have to tell anyone else, but you damn well need to be honest with yourself.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And again, can you be honest with yourself if you're in survival mode? I don't think so. You're too busy doing other stuff, right?
No, not necessarily.
Not
I think
necessarily?
sometimes survival mode might actually strip you down. Sometimes when you're there, like you get your priorities straight pretty quickly. Like
Really?
you realize, like, no, 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 no. Like if you're in a tight place, a lot of people, like, if I'm in a tight place, like maybe I'm a bit distracted, which is how I probably got there. But at a certain point in time, if you want to get out, you get clear.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Um, the f-
We went all over the place.
no, no, no. That's amazing. The thing is like relationships are tricky. That's what I was going through my mind. Right? There's so many variables. Like if it was, like there's the whole package. There's you with all your package, the baggage, and there's the other person, with their whole baggage, and on top of that, that was what was rushing through my mind. And on top of that, there's all the chemicals that go through your
Mhm.
brains all, when you meet a new person that you fall in love, and you just don't see all the mistakes. You just fall in love. You just merge. You're like, you just you're the best person. Then
Yeah.
and then 6 months, 8 months, 10 months from now, it's like, what the fuck I'm doing? Who are you?
Yeah.
Like, oh my god.
I have found myself in that position many times. Like that is a familiar place.
Is
Like,
it?
I have been that person. And I'm like, who are you? What are we doing here? I don't even like you. Like nothing in common. Like this went too far.
Would you have any recommendations for, well, people like me who tends to also do those kind of things?
Um, okay, so let me speak directly to men, if
Okay.
I can do that, because like there's so many different, some things you are universal, some things are not. And actually, I guess this applies to women as well. Go for the person who genuinely makes you happy, who makes you feel confident, who makes you feel comfortable in your own skin. Don't I know especially for men it must be very hard to keep, there are a lot of very very pretty distracting girls, very very wearing very little, and
Oh yeah.
vying for your attention, but like that does not make for a partner. She could be awesome, but like that might be all there is to her as well, and that's not a real partner. Like there are so people like lead with like the sexuality of it, and obviously it is biological. Like obviously we're going to lead that way, but like practically speaking, in real relationships, the time you spend having sex is fairly minor, particularly as relationships go on. There is a lot of downtime of like you are sleeping next to this person, not with this person, next to this person. You are eating meals with them. You are in the car with them. You have to socialize with them. Like hopefully like you want someone who actually like has a lot to contribute one way or the other. That like look for someone who's like gentle and kind and funny and intelligent, because it's like you will get into a lot of trouble just chasing pretty things that just want, they just want more likes, they want more attention, they always, want someone with more money. It's like you do not want somebody who's materialistic, because you will just spend so much of your life trying to appease their insecurities, and that is not your job. Like if you are serious about like I would, for men who like would like to get married, would like to, maybe have kids, like that is a really, really different priority. That is the most important decision you'll ever make. Don't make that casually. Don't play with yourself that way. Don't take yourself more seriously. Be more serious about it, and be more serious about like the right person. Like a lot of girls don't play that game either, and like those women are winners, like with or without you. So like that's who you want to align yourself with. Like that's who you want to build a future with.
But how? Let me see how I can ask that. The thing is, especially at the beginning, like I've been guilty of that. Like when all this oxytocin on all those hormones, love hormones, are flooding your brain, you just think it's perfect. Of course, this person will never treat me badly. This person will always be trustworthy. This person, and it's so blinding. One of the recommendations that I have been given was, just wait, Bruno. Just why do you need to rush things? That's what someone told me. Like, okay, you fall in love, you like this girl. It seems everything's fine. Why do you need to be her boyfriend right away? No, 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 no. Just ride the wave for maybe 8 months, 9 months, and then, hey, by the way, it's kind of going smooth. I kind of like you. Let's. What do we think about going to the next step? Like, take things slow. That's what I heard. Would you agree? This is a good strategy.
Yeah, I don't, the nuances of when it's time to be boyfriend and girl. Like I would never casually date somebody for 8 months not knowing that we were in a committed relationship, because I wouldn't like that is far too like I'm not giving anyone that kind of time and energy if I don't know where this is going.
How do
But
you
like
navigate that then?
no, that just comes down to being honest. Like, that's how like all these like goddamn situationships happen.
Mm.
It's because there's always an imbalance. There's always one person who's more interested than the other. And then there's always one person if you're in a situationship, that means that there are other people involved. That means the other person is shopping around. That means that you are being kept on the back burner. In which case, see your way out quietly, peacefully. Do not stay in those like messy positions. But like,
But I mean,
I
when you just meet someone, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but when
yeah,
you just meet someone, there's a buffer. There's a time that you know
yeah, yeah.
that you're
No,
seeing
for
other
sure.
people. Like, what do you say is a healthy amount of time before you say, "Hey, are we mutually exclusive?"
Probably within a couple months.
Couple of months.
Yeah, I would, but and like also that depends on like, how physical are the two of you? Like, I get it. Like, no, I don't, if someone, asked me out for drinks and then was like, I want to be your boyfriend after like one or two dates, I'd be like, relax. Like, you haven't earned that. Like, you have not earned that title. Like, relax. But if somebody is consistent, like most of the time, like I appreciate, like, consistency is big for me. When men are consistent and persistent, I take them seriously. When they just sort of like jump out the corners like out of nowhere just because they want some of my energy or my attention, and then they disappear again, I don't have time for that. Like, you're a child. But like if you are consistent, like that's a lot of, from a woman's point of view, that's what she's seeing when she is dating multiple men at the same time. She might have her preference in ranking or whatever, but that ranking changes depending on their behavior. So like you will often see, she might like, a shinier object first, but he might play more games. And then a man who's a little less flashy but more honest and reliable and consistent, like that guy ends up winning usually.
Yeah, yeah. I saw a study recently that apparently some hormonal changes happen within the inside the woman's brain after she gets pregnant. Apparently, before she gets pregnant, she always prefers the edgy boy, the bad boy, like those more, you know what I'm talking about,
Yeah,
dangerous
yeah,
guys,
yeah.
the guy with the tattoo at the bar. But something changes after she gets pregnant. Somehow, she's more attracted to the chubby nerdy guy, the guy who provides more security, the guy who is more reliable. Is and if you think from an evolutionary point of view, it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, of course it does.
She,
Like because her first prior I don't have children. I
mm,
haven't been pregnant, so like I can't speak from it from a personal standpoint. But like yeah, evolutionarily it completely makes sense because then her first priority is protecting her children. So she does not want a dangerous man around her children. She wants to protect her. Like that is why like everyone says like marry the nerds. Like yeah,
yes,
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 I'm a nerd.
yes, like marry the like yes, nerds like women know that. Like they if especially if they're serious about wanting kids, like that's a whole different lens you put on a man. And I'm not surprised that happens. Like one would hope and think.
Yeah, but a lot of, from my perspective, a lot of girls do not want to have kids nowadays. They are all about independency and power and like I'm yeah. I think the main word here is independency, and it's very funny. I had a guest the other day on the podcast. I think his name is, what was his name? Eric McHugh. Yeah, and he accordingly to him, that's his theory, the government is trying to destroy the family unit. And
Oh
well,
God.
you just nodded your head. I want to know. I want to know what you think. But
What a fool.
really, do you think
Yes,
what are your
no.
opinion on that?
Like I think you're first of all, like I don't have kids and I never wanted kids. The thing is, men think having kids is as casual for women as it is for men. It is not. Men don't get pregnant. Men don't go through labor. They don't breast like nothing actually happens to men. And men are far more likely to leave children in a family if it doesn't suit them or amuse them. It is the women who know that that is a permanent decision.
Aren't the women's like 60 or 70% the ones who initiate the divorce?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I am not surprised at all. They'll always like stay much longer, but when a woman's done, she's done.
yeah.
There's like that you are way past expiration date. By the time she's out the door, trust me, it was on her mind a while ago. But I mean, I'm not surprised. Like I just think like there's been this assumption that like more women want children than who really do. I don't think as many women want children. I don't even think